Hi, my name's Andy Morgan and I'm the author of Fique Sarado. Thank you for coming to this page. I'm British, but I've lived in Japan for the last 11 years. I'm one of the most experienced and respected online coaches in the evidence-based fitness industry. I've built and run the most popular fitness site in Japan, RippedBody.jp, and I have a popular English language website called RippedBody.com. I've been coaching online for 5 years. I've worked with over 1,000 guys like you, helping them get jacked and ripped. Most of them come to me frustrated with progress. Are you right now? Now, I was. So let me tell you a story of how I went from this to a few years later looking like this and what I did to get there. I want you to learn from my mistakes. In the first picture, I had already been training for 5 years and I was frustrated with my results. So I started to buy supplements and I bought more and more, thinking that the next one was going to give me a breakthrough, until I was spending hundreds of dollars on supplements each month and I still wasn't changing. This is because I had my priorities all wrong. I kind of knew how to train, but I didn't understand how to put together the right nutrition plan to reach my goals. I didn't know how to track my progress. And without that, I couldn't know how to fine-tune things to keep myself progressing. And without this, it doesn't matter how hard you train, you will plateau, you will cease to change. And I wasted years of my time, effort, and money, and I don't want you to do the same. My journey started when I was 15 years old. I was standing outside the cinema in my hometown in Birmingham, and I was with 5 other friends, and a bus comes down the street the other side of the road, and about 20 kids, about a year older, pile off it. One of them jumps out the window, the back window, on the second deck of the double-decker bus. They run across the street, they want to fight. The result of that is I got a glass bottle to the side of my head here. And it shook me up. And it changed my view of the world. It had a profound impact on me because I no longer felt safe where I lived. And because of that, I started doing karate. And it kind of gave me the confidence to defend myself. But after a year of doing it, I started to realize that it wasn't enough. The best defense was not to get attacked in the first place. And I was very tall and very thin, and I knew that I needed to get bigger. So I bought myself a gym membership. Now at that time I was working at a supermarket. I was 16. I earned £112 a month and my gym membership was £43. So I was committed, but I didn't know what I was doing. Yes, I gained some muscle in my first year, but then I stalled and I didn't make progress for years afterwards. That's what you saw in that first picture. That's me after gaining some muscle, but then stalling for about 5 years. Now, I'm in Japan at that time. See, in my last year of university, all of my friends, they're getting sensible financial jobs, but I just wanted to travel, and I had an idea to go to Japan to do karate for a year. So I went to Japan, I taught English at a high school during the day, and I trained karate twice a week in the evening. And after a year, I found out, I can't remember how, but the world headquarters for the most practical style of Aikido, Shodokan, it's a fighting style of Aikido, was just 10-minute cycle down the road from my apartment. And I knew I had to check it out. Aikido is what Steven Seagal does, if you're a fan of 90s bad action films. And if you know Jason Bourne and those films, it's what he does. among a few other things. I got hooked very quickly on the Aikido. The best guys in the world would come and train there. Soon I was training 5 or 6 sessions a week of the Aikido. I was doing karate twice, and I was trying to go to the gym 3 times as well. And looking back on it, I think I was probably trying to turn myself into Jason Bourne. I was trying to prepare myself so that if I did get attacked again and I couldn't run away, I would have a chance at defending myself. Now at the time, I was spending a fortune on supplements because I still cared about the way I looked. And in my mind, my body was gradually changing. But in reality, it wasn't. But I couldn't see this until one day I was traveling in India and I'm chatting to a girl on the beach in Goa. And she says to me, you know, your body doesn't look like you train as much as you do. And it was like a kick to the balls. But she was right. I knew it, but I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get over this plateau. Training more clearly wasn't the answer, because I was already training 10, 11 sessions a week. So I started going to a hardcore bodybuilding gym in Osaka, and I started copying what people did. I saw that people would regularly bulk in the winter, gain weight in the winter, and then shred off all the fat like clockwork in the summer. And it wasn't a mystery to them, and I wanted to know how they did it. The answer, I discovered, wasn't in changing their training, and it wasn't in supplements, it was nutrition. They changed their diets. So I started to ask them what they did, and I went online and looked in bodybuilding forums, and I discovered that I needed to eat 6 meals a day every 3 hours with protein in each meal, and I needed to cut my carb intake, and I needed to do cardio every day. I quit the karate and the Aikido. I got injured at that time with my wrist, and I decided to do this full on. I did it, and it worked, and I got shredded lean the one summer. And the thing is, it was really hard to continue, and I lost my hobbies because of it. I kept doing this for a year, and then something happened that changed everything forever. A friend called Steve, he walks into the gym one day, and he's looking very lean. He must have dropped 10, 15 kilograms since I last saw him a few months before. And he shouts over to me, "Hey Andy," and he pulls up his shirt, and bam, there's his 6-pack. And then he said something that blew my mind. He said, "I did this while skipping breakfast, eating just twice a day, 2 huge meals, sometimes I have pizza, and I feel awesome." And I asked him what he was doing, and he told me to go to Martin Birkin's website, leangains.com. And I read the entire site in a day. It was all about intermittent fasting. And I discovered that I'd been lied to by the supplement industry. I'd felt for the whole of the last year more that I had been on a food hunt every day, that I would go out of the house looking for protein every 3 hours, worried that my muscle would fall off. But the truth was that I didn't need to eat 6 meals a day. I didn't need to do cardio, and I'd been working way harder than I needed to. I was angry, and I decided to start a website in both English and Japanese, trying to put a stop to the industry nonsense. I wrote articles talking about my experiences, initially talking about intermittent fasting and how people can use that to transform themselves in an easier way. I answered every comment on the website, about 16,000 now, and I used those questions to write more articles. I started coaching people online via email, and I wrote about those experiences on the website. Now fast forward 5 years. I failed. There is still a lot of industry nonsense out there. However, I've been able to make a small dent. The Japanese website is now the most popular fitness site in Japan, and RippedBody.com is just about to hit 10 million views. And I did this all without selling gimmicky products, without selling advertising space, just by coaching people, talking about my experiences, and speaking the truth about what really matters for physique change. Last year, I wrote my first books. See, the websites, they've got hundreds of articles explaining how I get the results that I do for my clients. But people ask me to put it into an easy to read, easy to understand, step-by-step guide. And that's what you have here with these books. The first book takes you through the exact process of how to set up your diet. How to set your calories, to set your macronutrient intake, decide the best meal timing based on your training and work schedule, and help you decide whether intermittent fasting can fit into that for you. With this information, you'll never be lost again as to whether you can eat a certain food or how much shifting the timing of things matters. It will show you where the paleo diet principles fit into chasing your physique goals so that you know how to implement it without screwing up your progress, because there's a clear order of importance laid out. The second book takes you through something even more important. It shows you how to adjust your diet to keep you progressing on your way to shreds. This is essential, but this is something that so many people miss. Your initial setup calculations are only estimations because the equations are built out of averages for average people. Your metabolism will adapt as you diet. You will need to change your diet as you shred down. But how are you going to do it? The way that most people try, by just slashing calories every time the scale weight doesn't change 1 week. Don't do that. It doesn't work, and you know it doesn't work. People drive themselves crazy by second guessing whether they're doing things right because they don't have a system in place. See, you can't just look at the changes in scale weight or body measurements on a week-to-week basis to determine when you need to make a change. Temporary fluctuations in water weight, which happen all the time, can mask fat loss and throw off all potential means of tracking your body fat percentage. They can't be objective about when to make decisions if they're not tracking right. And if people manage to finish their diets just by slashing their calorie intake, they have no energy for their workouts and life, they're miserable and irritable, they've lost all of their sex drive, and they can't sustain that ripped state once they get there. They have a horrible rebound. Do you want a rebound? Or do you want to be able to sustain it? You might have been there before. I know I was. I got shredded lean, but then I couldn't sustain it because I didn't have a life. You want to be able to look good all year round, right? The second book, it will show you how. Have a look at the page below. Take a detailed look at what I'm offering you. This is all of my coaching experience brought together in one neat package in these books so that you can do what I do with clients by yourself, for yourself. You'll not only get a full theoretical framework, but real client examples with videos of me going through their data and describing the adjustments I made to get them shredded. This will take all of the mystery out of it so you can get started right away. Have a read of what customers who have bought this have said and what other top industry coaches have to say about the content. And I want you to think, what you're going to pay for this information will cost you less than a pot of whey protein. And if properly applied, this will keep you ripped for life. No more jumping from one diet to the next. No more second guessing yourself. Let's get it done. Now, I'm so confident in this book, in this set of books, that if you're not happy with the content, email me within 30 days and I'll give you a full refund, no questions asked. You won't, but I want you to buy with a full peace of mind. Thank you for listening.